I've heard the hosts say stuff like this brain was wired for protection, not connection. And like, does that does that like go every way? Like does that mean that we were wired for protection instead of connection with just other people, or like protection instead of connection with ourselves and like with what we really feel as well? I feel like it's both. I'm not used to like talking about us as a system. Like we just had the inside world, and then there was the body and the outside world. Like we didn't really think about why it was like that when we were inside. We just like that's just how life is. So all this stuff about it being like a disorder and like medical and stuff is really new to me. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird being like all the world and the worlds that you've lived in your whole lives are only there because of trauma. Like that it's not this way just like for everyone anyway, that's not just how things are is really weird, because it is just how things are for us and it always has been. It's really nice inside as well. I hope that I get to talk about what it's like inside sometime, because it's really cool. And I always had this place kind of bad mouthed to me, like this is the dangerous world, this is the place that you don't go. Like, it's not perfectly safe inside or anything, because that would be impossible, but it's not like out here. Oh my god. Wow, that's disorientating as hell. Oh, holy shit. This is like really not. Some parts of me really like this, and some parts of me are like, this is not at all familiar. It's Violet. I've had a couple of really weird things lately. Like our whole life, we've never got blurred. Like blending and blurring. Maybe in the mornings, sometimes. Wake up a bit disorientated and like not really have a sense of who I was sometimes, but it was kind of rare, and definitely not like any time other than the mornings. And just lately, we've had that happen like more and more. There's, I wonder if it's because we're working so hard to lower the barriers between us. Like maybe lower barriers means more blending and more blurriness. And we've always had like, I'd say, I think to my knowledge, we've always had really firm, really high walls between us all. Like for the longest time, it was just one person would front for days, and one person would front for days after, and you'd have like total blackout amnesia of whatever had happened when you weren't in the front, and like no memories from other people, and like mostly amnesia between parts of myself, if not full blackout, like emotional amnesia or full blackout amnesia. Like it's always just been really intensely separated, like really intensely, and there's never been any like blending or blurring on your normal day-to-day things. It's always been like more of a clunky gear shift and more separation and disconnection than that. So I wonder if it's like because of all of the therapy and all of the work that we're doing in trying to gain more connection within this system with parts of each other and ourselves, because also we've had like way more switches lately, which is I actually really like, because I've got like way more support. I'm starting to feel like I don't have to just do everything myself, which has kind of been the rule of life around here forever. Ooh. I don't think I've ever seen a helicopter before. That was cool. Shit, what was I saying? Um, yeah, I'm happy for you to keep talking, but I don't know how. Like, I don't know how to. I get like mad anxiety trying to switch. It's like I don't know how. I get like this tension, like I'm holding myself onto something. Maybe tell me what you were saying, and if we start like talking about what you were saying, then maybe that'll like positively trigger you back out. Like, I can't hear you very clearly though. We've had more switches lately, and we've had like more adult parts trying to actually like switch and do stuff instead of younger parts. Like teenagers have been the only adults really, and they've been trying to take over so that the kids don't feel like they have to do everything and like react and take charge in flashbacks. And now we've got like a couple of adults like in their 20s, which I think is as old as people at front go, and they've like started trying to take over and do things more, but it's like the first time ever in the system's life that that's happened. We've had more switches. I'm really fucking dissociated. It's such a weird experience. Everything suddenly looks really bright and feels really loud, and I hear the person who is just talking out of the mouth talking behind me. There's like a rotation feeling, and then the person I was just talking to out here is talking from behind me, and I hear that and the direction, and I realize like, oh, I'm in the front, and then I kind of like start thinking cognitively a bit. I feel really like kind of disorientated. Everything is like super there. I can really feel the wind and the grass, and it's really loud, the bird tweeting, and I don't feel like it was that loud a second ago. It's weird. Like, passive influence seems to have been much more of a thing lately as well. So, things like, I really notice that my voice changes a little bit if people are near the front with me, and like start saying things more like how they do. whereas that never happened before. We used to be able to front and you wouldn't even know someone was fronting with you because there is just like too much of a distance, too much wall between us. It's kind of weird, but I think this is better. It's really weird though. It's like I'm not at all used to how this works, and I feel like it's very unknown, and I don't feel like I'm not in my element. I'm used to doing everything alone, especially in some parts of me. Like, learning to do that differently is really weird. Yeah, it's a bit easier to like suddenly be like, I really need chocolate right now. You're like, what the fuck? I don't want chocolate, but I really do want chocolate. Like, the passive influence is really much stronger. I just wonder how like closed down we were from each other before. Shit, I'm tired. I'm really tired. Holy hell. I feel really blurry.